What's good, YouTube, and welcome to the house. I miss a couple of things in life right now. I especially miss being able to go down the street and get a haircut. I was supposed to get my haircut around the time that all the shops were closing up. I also miss my 24-hour gym and being able to get a workout whenever I wanted, let alone the gym being open at all. And I especially miss when people took pre-sale prices rationally and didn't run around like chickens with their heads cut off, just going, "Oh my gosh, have you seen what Eldritch is? Oh my gosh, the cards from Secret Slayers are so expensive." Let's backtrack how we got to this point. First off, there's only 10 to 11 sellers on market right now, the usual players in the game. And what do I always tell you with TCG player pre-sales? Even though I'm incentivized to tell you to use my TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra for the cards you'd already be buying whenever it comes to pre-sales on here. They're overinflated. They're overpriced, and this does not reflect what the set's going to look like in a couple of weeks. Now, I've been wrong on some side sets here and there. Let's look at the Dragon Maids. I thought they were, overvalued towards 25, and now they're towards 40. That's the waifu tax. You just don't, with Yu-Gi-Oh players, try to calculate the waifu tax here. And we do have a waifu archetype in here with the Rikas, which are currently the lowest. Also, the first 6 cards here on the page are confirmed to be the short prints according to a lot of my sources, and I know Robbie Cole already has a video on that as well. Eldritch the Golden Lord, Elixir of Black Awakening, Adamancipator Researcher, Rika Glamour, Teardrop of the Rika Queen, and Adamancipator Risen Leonite. I do believe these are the 6 short prints for our set, at least with the US printing. That word. We don't have tier 0 on the market to keep a lot of these pre-sellers honest, where they interrupt like Yu-Gi-Oh singles used to, and all of a sudden, you see a ton of people suddenly with honest and better prices. We don't have that situation for now. Europe's still going to eventually get the secret sources, and according to people that I've talked to, they've gotten notices from their distro that they're not supposed to ship the sealed product over to Europe, or there can be consequences. So you are not supposed to be sending this sealed over there, and for good reason. I think it's pretty smart if Konami did do this order. It's so that you don't have the product just all the way over there, first off, depleting our product over here, and then second off, you would see people opening it up there and then not buying it once it's officially released in Europe. So I do think it's a smart move, partially on Konami, to keep that from happening and make sure that shops will be there. Second off, a lot of shops are still going to fulfill their orders from distro on this. While some may default, here's what happens when you default on a distro. You get cut off. They're not going to take your order serious at all anymore. Whenever you're ordering from the distro and you're like, yeah, I don't need those 5 cases, they're stuck with it, and they still have to sell it to someone else. They don't just ship that back to Konami like, sorry, the shop didn't buy it. The distro gets stuck with it. So if you default on a distro, which some shops during this tough time may actually end up doing that, well, they're going to end up cutting off that relationship. And a lot of mom and pop shops may end up closing without their doors. So if you can order from them, I've seen shops doing curbside pickup even with, stuff like this, similar to the restaurants. You're still going to see some of them. How does this keyboard work, Sonny? I need to list my secret slayers on the TCG player. You're going to see more than ever people getting creative with their resources and starting to sell this online, and you're probably going to be able to pick up some deals like you've never seen before concerning the set during the time. You're going to have shops that will be closing up that still have their order come in. They're going to want to maybe reopen one day, so they're going to still work with their distro on that level. And I think distros should be more understanding during this time as well. Now, when it comes to the 3 archetypes I'm staring down, I'm not going to tell you, kid, your deck is trash. But I do think the Eldritches are out the gate very, very overestimated for their price point on market. I love zombies. I really like zombie decks, but let's go back a bit in time to Danger Zombie on market and a little bit of zombie hype. How much of Top Cut was it taking? I know it's not the same, but how much? It was taking like 1 out of top 16s or 2. It wasn't just a majority overall, and that was enough to give a bit hype. So I do understand people taking lessons from history and also a fan favorite typing and applying this, but I think the Adamancipators, very, very similar to Ritual Beast, are the top of the set, but like, Ritual Beast wasn't the top of their set. They're similar in playstyle to Ritual Beast on some levels, and they kind of look like them too. I like the Adamancipators a lot, and I think they are the top deck, and I think when you see things kind of go out, the hype I know it's gold on a card, it's shiny. I think the hype will go out of this just a little bit. I do not think that this is the top deck from there. Those points aside, let's go through some side sets in history and compare the Secret Slayers to them and also what I think of it versus upcoming product. When it comes to it, well, I don't think this is a Secret Forces, but thanks to Nekroz being so top heavy, guess what? Everything else fell out. Even if we're in a similar situation to Dark Saviors, well, the for hire cards were like, I remember people complaining about $10 to $15 beats, and I think he got to 18. These were not that expensive of a side set. Now, let's compare. I don't think it's going to be as top heavy. I think people like all three of these typings. There is an unpredictable waifu tax to the Rikas, but I don't think that all three of these can stay up and be money versus estimated value pulled, even with these being shorts. And you see the rest of the set already predicting that line, already actually wanting to make sales and be realistic about the other cards. They're all pretty much priced, to sell and try to get the value of a pack back right now. They're trying to make sure that they make just money back versus the sales right now. That's why I don't suggest buying yet. Hold, wait with your wallet, chill out a little, and TCG Player becomes one of the best places to buy about a couple of days after release, or sometimes even the day of official release, when you start to see the market get bombarded with cards a lot more. But for now, yeah, it's people really trying to hold the line and make estimated value pulled to where they make profit. Single cards getting the value back of packs. It's kind of ridiculous how much, and not everything can be worth money, even in those good sets. I think this is a lot more like Fusion Enforcers. I think you're going to see one of these stay on the top and the other two fall out, even if they're good, and then over time maybe some will appreciate. I really think it is like Fusion Enforcers, where you're going to, back in the day, have a $30/$50 top card combo for one of the typings, and that will help the rest of the set kind of settle down and chill out. And we still don't know the EU ratios, by the way. Those will be coming later whenever they actually get their hands on the product. So we don't know how the international market will actually end up eventually affecting this, but safe to say, based off of history, it might be a little bit better than what this is. Other side sets that have completely fallen out, even having a YCS winning deck, and I still think is highly undervalued, Prank Kids. Look at Hidden Summoners. Now, this is not a Hidden Summoner set, but this is just an example of how poorly side sets can do, even when they have two decent archetypes in them. Like, complete trash in terms of what it should be. Now, Fist of the Gadgets, I think this is closer to Fusion Enforcers than this, but Fist of the Gadgets had a lot of hype on arrival, and then it just died out. Like, Fire Fist, it feels like your good hands are win more, and it doesn't feel like you can do enough with just a few things. Like, I know there's some 2-card combos out there that are crazy, but the rest of the set, it's just average. It's just affordable. It's awesome. Do I think that the Secret Slayers will end up the same? I wish, but again, I'm calling this to be a Fusion Enforcers. You're going to see one of these typings win. My call is the Animancipators. I think the Eldritches will fall out over time. The gold, though, the shiny, the pre-sales, the prices, vendors may try to cling to it as they might, and it is a really cool concept, but I think it will float under them. This is all speculation, though, and let's talk about it versus upcoming product. I think the next upcoming product that's the biggest gamble, similar to the Secret Slayers, is Toon Chaos, but Chaos is a meta fan favorite, and people really like that mixing light and dark edginess. And then you also have Toons, which is a huge fan favorite, but Shadows in Valhalla kind of did tank at first, and this is a similar set to that one. It is interesting, though, because we get Pot of Extravagance reprinted and a brand new rarity that people might be really hyped for, and I am looking forward to more of the cards that they're going to be putting in that rarity, but I'm not holding my breath. Just on this information alone, I think Toon Chaos is worth keeping sealed and setting aside. I'm apprehensive about Eternity Code, which we'll get into in a bit. Battles of Legend, always successful. It's always a huge win. Pre-sales, there's places you tend to win, like Lackluster Soldier, the Link Monster. Remember those for $3 to $6? I remember. So there's always huge wins to be had when it does come to Battles of Legend, and I look forward to this. There's a lot of hints that there might be better cards, but right now I don't necessarily like the reveals. But I do think this set will come together in its typical typically a win. Eternity Code, I'm still holding my breath to see what the new or same ratios are going to be. And we know that there's more ultra rares, more secret rares, more super. Half the freaking set is holo. I do hope there's still like a super in every pack to replace the rare, but we don't know what Mad Lads Konami is cooking up and if the ratios will change or where. So we're still trying to see, but Eternity Code, one of the best core sets in ages. I would put this in the top 10 core sets of all time. When I see these, like spending my money on all three of these products more than this. Is this a bad product? No. Is Fusion Forcer a bad product? No, it's a pretty good product, but I'm gonna give you the good old Simo. Buy the freaking singles after there's more competition and after the hype of this deflates a little. Again, I do think, you know, $50 for a card's a lot. Fusion Enforcer side sets, they tend to breed those kinds of situations and cards. Did I even pull up the Dragon Maid set? Yeah, here it is. I want to compare it to this as well a little bit, because this is one of the only sets that I just called so wrong. I did say that Albertan would go down over time. It has, but I could not have predicted just a little bit of splash in a core set and a waifu typing. I didn't think the generators would do this well at all. These are three types that are kind of hyped similarly in terms of the community being like, I like them all. Oh, Math Mech, so underestimated, but it's more so this card holding the front. And then people really like generators, but Ghost Ogre tears this up when we're talking meta play if it ever became relevant. Like, these keep getting more support in core sets, and Konami really could just splash a little something in the future in core sets, and the values would be past what I can predict versus the current information. And looking at this, looking at the pre-sales, if something big comes for Eldritch, well, hey, maybe it's his wife, his Golden Pharaoh wife. All of a sudden you have another huge monster for the typing. That could be really big for them. We don't know the future of this, but for now, I can safely say I think it will fall out similar to somewhere between Fusion Enforcers and the Dragon Maid set. That's where I see it going. What do you guys think? Because this is speculation. Whenever we talk about it, it is, but versus history, these pre-sales are too high and there's no coolant being brought to them till the actual sellers get to market. Again, also, consider supporting your mom and pop shops during these times. Try to work with them, see if they have curbside pickup, see what Lost Art promos they have to be able to throw in if you are going sealed. Don't necessarily just blindly use the Tubers TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra and supporting the channel directly just because he's handsome and awesome. Make sure that you are looking around you, supporting your community, and deciding your best route to approach the set. But I do think the singles are the answer, and I think just wait a little, you'll probably be better off and happier than with prices like these that are just priced out for estimated value pulled to get back stuff for the vendors. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. And I do like all three typings. I think the plant archetype is actually a little underestimated as well. But like Magible, it's a couple regional tops and a premier top. Like, where do you think certain ones of these are going to fall? I still think the Adamanticators have the highest ceiling, but we'll see where Eldritch goes, and we'll see if I've underplayed the plants in this video as well.